Hello to everybody watching. This is going to be an exciting video, and I'm hoping to help out the many players of the PlayStation Network who play The Elder Scrolls Online, who have had a very large issue since the add-ons have been released onto this video game, and we have been without the ability to fully use the potency of a very strong add-on, and that is the Wizard's Wardrobe. And why am I talking about this? It is because I have finally unlocked a method of how to get your builds to save in the add-on so that you do not have to reset them every time you log in. So I know this has been a pretty big headache for a lot of people, and I have been working at this diligently for weeks now to try and figure out how this can be done, and I have finally gotten to a point where it is working. Now I'm going to go through. This is going to be kind of a long video, so just in case you're wondering, I will put timestamps in this so that you can jump to places that you want to. I would recommend, if you're watching this video, maybe put it on TV while you're eating or something, because it's going to be a long one. I'm going to cover a lot of stuff in here. If you're actively playing the game and you're wanting to follow along, maybe pull this up on your phone or your iPad or laptop, whatever, so that you can kind of follow along the steps that I'm going to narrate through and what I did. And so I'm going to show you and prove to you this works by logging out of my character, which is oftentimes going to clear your stuff off whenever you log out of your character. That would typically delete your builds and they're gone. And that takes a long time to set these up, especially if you're wanting to set up for trials. So I'm going to get into it because this is going to be a rather long video and I want to cover a lot of stuff. So in addition to showing you what I did to get the add-on to work, I am also going to do a walkthrough on how you can set up your character on all of the trials and have several different builds in the add-on so that you don't have to log off and get onto another character, because I'm on a tank, as you can see, by the way. And so, for example, if this guy was only set up for main tanking, but somebody needed an off tank, well, this guy's not set up to do that, so I got to log off and get on another character. You can set up your characters to do multiple different things and keep your builds in the Wizard's Wardrobe without having to worry about that. So I'm going to get into what I did to start with trying to figure this out. Now, I'm going to tell you that my process is not entirely finished because I'm going to start progressing slowly back to where I was before to find out essentially how much the system can take. But essentially what I did yesterday, now you may not have to do this step yourself. I did it actually inadvertently, intending to do something else, and by the time I did it, I was just like, well, whatever, it is what it is. I accidentally deleted the game from my PlayStation. I was intending to go in and delete just the save file, and I was not only kind of half paying attention to what I was doing, and I ended up deleting the game instead of the memory. So, my fault, I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. I was focusing on something else at the time and just pressing buttons. But what I did was I deleted the game from my PlayStation, and then I deleted the saved profile. Before I did this, I removed every single add-on from the game on my profile. I reloaded UI so that I had absolutely no add-ons on my game at all. Then like I say, I accidentally deleted the game. I deleted the memory, the saved file, and then I reinstalled the game. And then the only add-on that I have put on my PlayStation is the Wizard's Wardrobe. I wanted to test this to make sure, in a logical test of, okay, if this is the only add-on that I have on and it still doesn't save builds, then the problem must lie within the Wizard's Wardrobe, right? Because there's nothing else here that's affecting this. So I did that. I installed this and I started off with a small test of just going into the top one here, not the control, but the main one here. And I was switching on some of the settings that I normally turn on, such as your gear on, your skills on, your all of these things here, and then turning on dungeons and all of this, and automatically charging your food and your weapons. Re-upping your food and your weapons and repairing your gear and all of this. And I saved that and I logged out. I completely powered my PlayStation down because I wanted to test, really give it a good test to see, okay, is this going to save? If it's going to delete when I just do this, then there's really no point in continuing trying to configure or mess with this, because if it's even going to delete at this level of usage, then there's no reason for me to keep doing this until they launch a real update that says, okay, we finally cracked this code and it's working. So when I did that and it saved, then I said, okay, let's try putting some builds in here. So I started with going into the control. And then I went into what I call the dungeon setting, which is just the substitute setting, the substitute setups. And then I gave it a build name. This is a very important component to what I do. And then I saved build setups. And then I logged out of the game and I completely powered down again. Again, I wanted to stop and test every step of the way to make sure that this would save and that I wasn't going to waste my time. Now I can tell you that the build setups that you see right here, and if I go into trials and I change this here and go through all the trials like this, the setups that you can see on my screen right now, I did these yesterday. I completely logged out of the game, shut my PlayStation off overnight, went to work, worked my entire day, came home, ate dinner, watched TV for a little bit, and came upstairs to check and see, and lo and behold, my builds are still here. So, if you want this to work, what I'm going to suggest you do is to start with deleting all of your add-ons from the game and then do a reload UI. And then from there, close your game out. Then you need to delete your save file. And if you don't know how to do that, I don't want to try and show that because I'm not sure that it will show in a video if I do that. So it's not a difficult thing and it's very easy to look up. But what you need to do is you need to delete your save file. So if you're worried about that, just let me calm your nerves on that. You're not deleting your progress on your profile. That is all saved on the Bethesda server, the ESO server. So what you're doing is you're deleting any memory of a messed up file in possibility. And you're starting with a clean slate for your add-ons. Okay? And then what you're going to want to do is go into the options here and go into the add-ons menu and browse. And when you get this loaded, you're going to want to go to Wizard's Wardrobe like this, scroll all the way down, and you're going to need to install these dependencies that are at the bottom here and the ones that you can see on my screen here. Because this will not function unless it has the libraries that are there. So I have the debug logger, as you can see, it's the third one down. And there's the add-on menu, it's the very lowest one that I have installed. The async is right above that. And then there is Harvin's add-on setting. I don't need chat message apparently, but I guess that automatically downloaded, so I didn't choose to add that chat message. So, but anyway, this is what you need to have installed to run Wizard's Wardrobe. I would recommend that you take a screenshot, pause the video, write them down if you want to, just so you know the easy one. This is the bare minimum. Start with this, okay? Once you get all of your builds saved for all of your characters, then you can start gradually picking some of this other stuff that you want to put on, save it, log out, log back in, verify if that one add-on caused a problem with your Wizard's Wardrobe, make a list. And by the way, let's make it an easy community thing here. If you are going to take these steps and do this one by one, I'm going to ask you guys watching this for a favor. If you find out that there's an add-on on this list that caused your builds to delete once you added just that one, and you verified by logging out and logging back in, and oops, there goes your builds. Comment in the comments and let us all know, don't use this add-on. Let's use the power of the internet for everybody's benefit and get these add-ons out here that are going to cause this problem, because I don't know about you guys, but this add-on right here is probably one of the most powerful, useful add-ons that we can have as console players, if not the most, outside of close second, perhaps, maybe the Harvest add-on that shows you where all the chests are in the trials and dungeons. Things like that. Maybe the crafting add-on that automates a lot of stuff for you. There are awesome, I'm not saying any of these are not even worth having. I'm just saying in terms of what this does in so many areas of the game, this is one of the biggest wants for the community, and that has not worked for the last, however, what is it, 3-4 months that it's been a thing. So finding out how to get this to work for me was a very big focus, and I've been trying several different things, trying to configure how to get this to work, and I finally got it to where it will save builds. Now, I don't know if you can just go in and disable all your stuff and reload UI and then test it with just Wizard's Wardrobe active here. I have no idea if that will work. I'm telling you the exact method that I used for this to be a thing, and that it saves your builds and that it will not delete them. So when I get done going through all of my characters, I am going to make a list of the ones that, man, it's really going to suck if I don't have this. I've really been liking that add-on. Like, for example, this Lazy Writ Crafter has, maybe I don't do my writs every day, but there's a lot of stuff that this thing does that I really have liked. Same thing with the fancy action bar. I really like the way this looks and helps. I really hope that this doesn't cause a problem with Wizard's Wardrobe? At this point, I don't know that. I want to be clear about that. I've not tested all this other stuff. What I have done is I have gotten to the bare bones, and I've gotten to the point where, okay, this saves. We have at least taken a step forward of, okay, we've figured out how to get it to save. Now let's see where the line is of what we can put on this to see if we can stick anything else in here. As you can see in the bottom right corner here on my screen, my disk usage is at 0.9. Before I removed all of the add-ons that I was using, I believe I was at 7 megabytes out of 100. I'm not sure if there's a number threshold there that really is indicative of causing a problem, but to me, 7 out of 100 shouldn't be a problem. It's well below the maximum of that display there, and honestly, if it's going to be something like, oh, 13 out of 100 is way too much, then you are, not you guys, but they are displaying an incorrect and inefficient way of conveying that information. Because to me, that looks like I'm not using that much of what's capable. In my opinion, the 100 megabytes should be what's capable. If I cram 100 on here and the game crashes, your number should be lower so that you're not crashing your game. I don't know what that number is. I'll be clear. I do not know that. But that's what I'm trying to do right now in this procedure. But I wanted to put out a video because this is massive. And I know that a lot of people have been trying to get this thing to work. And I wanted to get this out as soon as I could. And once I confirmed that the builds are, in fact, saving. And so that's the end of this first part of the video. I'm not ending the video in total. I'm just telling you that's what I did to get to this point. Okay, so in the next part of this, I'm going to give you a tutorial on, for example, how to set up the different activities you can do on this, as well as how you can do different builds in here. Because I don't know how many of you guys play this game like I do, but just to go over to my armory here on this guy, I have several armory builds because this has been essentially the Wizard's Wardrobe for console. Now the problem is, in vet trials, you can't pull out an armory. Well, you can use a Wizard's Wardrobe and it'll do pretty much the same thing. Even more so because it just does it automatically without you doing anything. And it's still active in veteran content, which I think is honestly a little bit weird. But anyway, so in order to set up builds, you're going to want to pick your activity here. I'm just going to go with trials because that's a very commonly run thing. If you do PvP, there is a category here in the you go to the general here, and then it's the miscellaneous, and then there's the player versus player here, and you can create more than just the one setup that's listed there on the right. I'll go over that in a minute as well. But I do want to focus on the trials. I'm going to explain the functions of all of this stuff down here in this procedure. So if you know how to do that stuff and you don't care about this part of the video, I would appreciate it if you do help us out like I asked. Comment any of those add-ons. Thank you for watching if you are cutting off the video now, but I am going to continue on here with how to set up the trials builds here because I feel like this is a really powerful tool that we can, once you get all of this set up, it's going to be a little bit of a slog if you've got a lot of characters like I do. But once you get this set up and done, it is going to be incredible. Absolutely incredible for people on console. It's absolutely groundbreaking. So we're going to start with Trials and Ethereum Archive. So right here, I already have my main tank, which I call my Glacial Echoes tank. I have a video on this build in case you're curious about it. I'm not going to spend any time explaining what the builds are. I have videos for that. If you want to see them, they're on my channel. Please check them out. I want to try and focus on this task here because it's going to be a bit monotonous. So you pick your trial. Now you need to figure out that each one of these trials is essentially going to be its own, going down here is going to be its own thing. You cannot set up multiple things by scrolling here, hitting save, scrolling here, hitting save. It doesn't work like that. You need to change everything every time you do it. It's very meticulous. So, for example, when you start off, this says page 1, and this says page 1. Think of this page here, the same thing as your armory slot. Okay? So when you're looking at your trials here, and what trial you're doing, this page is your armory slot. So you don't want to keep it named as page 1. You want to name it something. And you do that by coming down here and giving it a name. And once you do that, this will change from page 1 to whatever you name it. So then from there, you can quick equip if you want this to be checked. I don't check this personally. Then this is a button if you want to actually put the build on. You can equip it right now. Then you have, this is the stage. Oh, if you're watching over to the right while I cycle through this, this is for add pulls, mobs, or trash, whatever you want to call it. Then there's the first boss, second boss, third boss, and final boss of AA. And you can set up absolutely unique setups for every one of those, be it gear, be it skills, CP, food, everything. You can make completely unique setups right there like that. Okay? So then you can rename it. If you don't like the word trash, you can rename it mobs or ads or whatever you want to call it. And then you can also move this around if you want it to be in a different position. I'll explain that a little bit in a little bit. But once you get your setup, what you would do at this point is you would set up all your skills, all your CP, get your potion slotted, your food active. You actually need to have your food active so that the add-on knows what food it wants. You want it to refresh. So once you get everything set up, pretend like you are about to go into that add pull. Set up your build exactly like that. Then you go into the add-on and you save your setup. Now I'm going to show you what I do on the rest of the AA here, because I'm wearing my Glacial Echoes main tank, and I don't really change this build a whole lot, except for if you want to look at the equipped setup, you can either go to this here and scroll down. Actually, the setup is, you go to this here where you can cycle through the pages. On the right hand side, I should say the bosses or the stages of the trial. Then you can scroll down and you can verify, okay, I've got the skills there. Then I've got the gear equipped, and then I can look at my food and even what CP nodes I have on. So I don't really like the way this is set up. If I remember correctly, I accidentally saved this build last night when I intended to do something else. I accidentally saved it. So I'm going to just change a few things for what I do for add pulls. I usually put celerity on over bracing anchor so that I can move around faster. And this is being a pain, of course. Okay, there we go. So now I've got the movement speed to move around for add pulls, and I've got pretty much the same setup that I like to do for add pulls. And that stupid bug is still here. I thought they fixed that bug, but apparently it's still alive and well. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's saving the base class line skill lines rather than launching the ones that you're actually using. So what you want to do, like I said, you want to get these loaded up and ready to go just like you want them. Okay, so now I have all my CPs in, and here's my... So then I go into the Wizard's Wardrobe. I'm on my trash line, and this is exactly how I want to have my trash set up. So then I save my setup, and it updates, and as you can see, my CP is different now, right? So now if I want to set up for boss builds, I just change what I want to change. And for this, I like I say, I only change a couple of things on my main tank, because I traditionally am not the one running around yanking shit together. And so we'll put that on, and I'm going to go into the add-on. And now I pretty much run this setup for all boss fights. So what you can do is while you're on the Glacial Echoes Etherean Archive page, you can go to the first boss. If you're watching to the right, I'm now on the Fountainstone Atronach. You go down and you save your setup. Now, if you want to do different setups for each boss, you can absolutely do that. You'd want to make any changes you want. Move it to the boss that you want over here on the right-hand side. It's in the setups like I'm in right now. You want to get your build exactly how you want it, skill-wise, food-wise, everything. You can set up custom setups however you want. And then once you're ready, you come in here and you hit save. And then you go to the next one. And then you set up your build. Like I say, I don't like to change my setup. So there, I'm going to set it like this. So, and I accidentally moved my Atronach out of order. So there, I've moved him back. So it wasn't my Atronach that was in. There. There we go. Now I think I got it right. Okay. So if you want to do, okay, this only finalizes the steps for Etherean Archive. Now this is very important. This is how you need to do this for all the other trials. When you switch this from Etherean Archive to the next trial, it changes everything down here, including what build page you're on. So you need to make sure you switch this. As you can see, I don't have another page here. This is my off-tank build, my Mighty Pearl build. So how do you make a build like I just got done doing Glacial Echoes? I have Mighty Pearl here. So how do you do another build here if I've only got Mighty Pearl? You create a page. So you create the page here. It defaults to page number 2 because it's the second page that has been created. And as you can see where it says rename page, it says Mighty Pearl. That will change as soon as you get down to the field. It automatically changes. I don't know why there's a delay in that, but watch. I'm going to move down to it right now, and you're going to see where it says rename page. It'll change from Mighty Pearl to page 2, just like that. This right here is where you name the page what you want it to be. So this right here, Glacial Echoes, is my main tank setup. So you can call it main tank if you want to. If you got your own build that's named something, go ahead and name it whatever you want to. But for every time you change the trial, it changes what you're on down here. So you need to keep an eye on that and make sure that you are making multiple pages for what you're wanting to work with. So I'm on Sanctum Ophidia now. I'm with my main tank setup, and I'm currently loaded for my boss's fights. So what I can do is I can come down here to the boss fight here, and I can save. Go up to, move to the next boss, and hit save. I move to the next boss, and I hit save. And I move to the next boss, and I hit save. And then I have my main tank and my off tank pages for Sanctum Ophidia. Now, if I want to do the same for my off tank build here, then I can go into my armory and load it and then start configuring my off tank for this. I'm not going to do that in that video because I think I've kind of displayed a basic how you do this pretty well. If this is confusing and I need to do another video, let me know in the comments and I'll see if I can explain it a little bit better. But I'm trying to make this as concise and valuable as possible without making people glaze out and stare at the phone. But this is how you do it. You change your trial, you change your armory slot right here. If you don't have one that's optional, like if you've already gone through, and again, you can do this for DPS, you can do this for healers. So DPS, let's say you've got on your Arcanist, you've got a beam build, and then you've got another build that's like let's say it's a support DPS wearing War Machine and Martial Knowledge, but it's still a beam build, but it's set up with different classes. Okay? Then you want to create a page and create a page for your standard full damage, and then create another one for your support. Same thing with healers. SPC healer, create a page and make it an armory slot for your SPC healer. Go through all the trials and all the different scenarios, trash all the boss fights, save them how you want to, okay? And then when you get to the end of your characters, that's when you can start adding on add-ons to make sure that they are saving your build. So I'm gonna log out right now while I'm recording, and I'm gonna show you. I can't log my PlayStation off and continue to record, obviously, but I'm gonna log out right there, and then I'm gonna log into my main Dragon Knight tank here, which is the guy that I did more setups on yesterday. I did way more setups on him because this is the guy I was testing with. So we're both going to find out live whether or not I'm full of crap, because I've not logged into this guy at all today. I'm going to log in, load my Glacial Echoes build just like that, and now I'm going to go into, let's pull my hirelings there. So go into the add-ons, go into the wizard wardrobe, and as you can see, there's my Glacial Echoes page. Here's my off-tank page for Hell Raw. Here's Maw of Lorcage, main tank, off tank. Here's Halls of Fabrication, main tank, off tank. Here's Asylum Sanctorium, main tank, off tank. You're getting the idea how much you can put on this and set up so that you have several different things. Okay? So then let's do one more live experiment just to show you what this does. I'm gonna unequip all of my gear. I'm not gonna leave the build or anything. So then I'm going to travel. By the way, I recommend, if you have not done this, the Sugar Bowl Suite right here is the #1 house to buy for 3,000 gold, the little apartment in Northern Elsewhere. And the reason why is you can travel to the outside of it for free. And when you land, you are right next to a way shrine. It is the best apartment in the game to use for that. So just a little side note there. But we're going to travel into a trial. And I'm going to put it on, make sure it's on vet. So I'm going to travel into oh heck, let's just go Sunspire because we're here. So I'm going to go to Sunspire. And look at that. It automatically loaded my gear. Now, which one did it load? Mighty Pearl. So if you are currently standing ready to go for a trial and something happens with your group and they say, oh man, I need you to main tank, this is how you switch it. You go into the add-ons menu here, you pick your Glacial Echoes, and then you come down to here, Equip Setup. Just like that. And then you're on that armory slot page for the entire trial. It will then follow your progression from the trash fight to Locustes to Ulnacrin. It will follow this progression right here because you loaded this page. So you can change your pages when you're in here, and then you can change your setups as well. Now I know on PC, because they've had it for a long time, you can also create setups here. If you want to plug in like pre-buff stuff, if you're really going to go for score pushing, you can create a page to go in. But here, I'll just show you. You can create a page. And let's say you want to name this pre-buff. Right? And you want to make it so this setup here has you know, a high recovery or something that you want to do like from one ad pull to the next, or I should say maybe you got done with the last ad pull before a boss fight. You want to pop that in there. You can make several of these and then stick them in between your boss fights or wherever it is you want. But it's only going to do that on this armory slot or page. So keep that in mind. If, for example, you make a mistake, you're going to want to go to the page that you're wanting to delete right there. So this one was the pre-buff, and you can delete that setup. And it will delete it. You can also delete the rest of this stuff here, but I wouldn't recommend that. Now a setting here is it will automatically default to trash after every boss. Or you can set it to go to pre-buff after every boss. Or if you do a pre-buff, you can name a pre-buff and it'll be in here, and then you can go to that setting after every trash pull. So then there's different positions here where the panels are. This is if you want your quick slots equipped, which is of course your potions, food, and all that. So that's another little thing to look at here. If you want a special, this tells them what you want slotted for your quick slot, and you can assign every spot in the wheel for your quick slots. So southeast, which is like, what is that, 5 o'clock down here, is 1, and then going around. So you can set this all up. Pardon me, it's the other way around. It's this 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you can set those up to have all the assignments. Once you get them set, then you can have which one you want assigned. I don't really do that much. I usually keep my potions and my food and everything slotted the same regardless of what build I'm on, so that it's easy to use and remember. But there's some things here that you can do. This light mode here will make the Wizard's Wardrobe panel, which you can see right next to my ultimate there. It will change how that looks. I don't really want to mess with that personally. I don't want to try and do anything to this that is going to mess with the ability to save this stuff. So I just wanted to make sure that I could make this work and get it to a point where it's working, and then try to progress forward and see what we can add to this to make it useful for everybody, essentially. So I'm going to end the video here. I really appreciate everybody watching, liking, subscribing, commenting. This channel has taken off way, way, way faster than I thought it would. My goal was just to try and help people as much as I could with content that I didn't see a whole lot of other people covering. And so I really do appreciate all the comments and all that. If you liked this video and you thought it was interesting or helpful, please check out my YouTube channel for all of my other stuff. I have spent a lot of time in the last couple of weeks altering my videos and how they look. The cover pages are new. I've added timestamps, new descriptions. I've even linked other videos that I talk about in the videos. I've added playlist links as well. The easiest thing I think is to go to my channel and then go down to my created playlist to find the subject that you are interested in. If you're a healer, for example, I have multiple videos on healers. I know that's kind of lacking in the YouTube department right now, and it has for quite a while. So I've tried to basically cover all the bases of PvE at least. I will never ascribe to be a professional PvPer. It's not appealing to me personally. Doesn't mean that it's not fun for other people, and I understand that. It's just not for me. It's not my cup of tea. I much prefer doing PvP group content like Trials and Dungeons. But I'm trying to do as much as I can with this game in terms of helping people, because I know when I first started, finding the right information and effective information was sometimes frustrating and difficult. And I think it's gotten a little bit worse with a lot of the content creators kind of letting go of the game and stepping away because they're burnt out or they're just frustrated with it. They have their own reasons. I'm not going to fault them for it. I can't say what I'm going to do in 10 years from now after playing this. I've only been playing this game since the High Isle chapter came out, so my passion for this game is still pretty high, and I'm hopeful that they keep the subclassing fairly similar to what they have. I know they definitely need to do some changes. I'm hoping that they don't nerf it into the dirt because I think a lot of people are enjoying the power that is created. And I think that's going to hurt the game a lot. I think there's a lot of people out there that have gotten kind of menu anxiety and they don't know which slice of pie they want to try. And so it's kind of like walking into a bakery and going, oh, damn, they got 7 pies. They all look good, but I can't eat them all because I'll get a stomach ache. But I'm trying to get as much information out as I can to give people good choices to make to have so they can have fun, relax, and have a good time. So if you thought this video was helpful, check out my channel. Like I say, thanks a lot for watching. If you like this video, please take out a look at my channel, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.